All right, what is up? Welcome back to the Kelsey Show. Okay, I was so excited because I had no idea what I was walking into this morning. So, my assistant Hazel, she's so good. She knows that I forget things. So, she always messages me like first thing in the morning to tell me you have a podcast at this time. And I was like, cool, thanks. And then she sends it to me again. You have a podcast at this time, but this time with all of our guests' information. And I was lying in bed and I was like, yo, I am so fucking excited right now to do this episode. So I have Nadine Royale. She's so beautiful. She's so cool. She's got this, amazing jacket on too. And she is she's a recording artist, actress, entrepreneur. I think that everyone who knows me knows why I'm so excited. She has a brand, like a song out right now called War Cry, which honestly I was like listening to and I just had chills. So much power. And she has a clothing brand, which again, everyone who knows me knows that I'm just like, yes, called Ascendi, and we will tag everything. But Nadine, I'm so excited to have you here. What's going on?
Oh my God, you are so sweet. I'm so happy to be here. I love meeting other amazing, powerful women, and I can already feel your energy. And I'm like, yo, this is going to be such an amazing podcast. I'm ready.
I'm so excited. You literally are the I sent that message from my assistant to my like best friend
Okay.
because I was like, this is a sign because she's also making music and she's incredible. And
Ooh, okay.
yeah, and we were chatting about it yesterday how like there's such a like this is the vibe right now. Like you literally are the epitome of like the dream girl, the entire brand that I'm teaching
Oh
about, which
my
is
God. That's
yeah,
so
you
sweet.
are. And we're going to
Thank
talk
you.
about it. Yeah, because it's like the woman who is embodying all aspects of herself,
Mm, I love that.
which looks like what you're doing, which is super
Thank
cool because
you.
yeah, it's like it's not very common right now,
Mm,
you know?
mhm. Right.
So what tell me like what because again there's so many layers that we have to work through to allow ourselves to be all aspects of ourselves, right? Because
Yes.
like I don't know if you've ever felt that like too much or am I allowed to do all these things, but it's like how did you get into this, like where did it kind of start and what made you realize that you really wanted to be like artist, entrepreneur, all of it?
I think that a lot of us start as children being the weird kids. Being the oddballs, and creative children. So I was always a creative child. I would have my stuffed animals, do concerts, charge my parents $10 to get into the show. Like just a wild kid and make little music videos back in the day. I always loved to create.
Mm.
And then I discovered theater and choir in high school when I moved to America. So my mom won a green card in the lottery when I was 10
What?
from Germany. Yeah.
That
And
happens? That's so
yeah, I don't know if they still do that, but that's how it used to be. So we moved here with my mom, and I kind of learned English a little bit. I knew a little bit of English, but I had a little bit of a culture shock because I didn't understand. Like I got a lot of bullying and stuff like that. The kids kind of mean to me, but that's okay. Because of that, I just started creating, and I was making music, and I was in theater, and I was the oddball in school, but when I was in theater, I felt at home. So the
Mhm.
theater community has always been kind of my safe haven. And so then, I think with that, I just discovered who I was. And I went to Berklee College of Music. That's where I got my degree from.
Wow.
Have a music degree. And I just started exploring all of these different avenues. And as an artist, it just happens that most of the time you'll turn into an entrepreneur because you have to find different lines of income to support, especially if you're independent. I don't know if we've talked about it, but I was shelved. I was signed and shelved. And after that experience, I was like, okay, I'm going to go independent now. And that looks very different than being with, a company with a label or whatever. So that's really when I started to diversify my talents and say, okay, what else can add to this brand? How else can I build this and inspire other girls and other women to be everything they are, no matter what anybody says? That's kind of my message is no matter where you come from or who you are, how different you are, like you deserve to live your dream life. Like you said, dream girl, like I love your
Yeah.
whole brand. And not being afraid of being weird and not being afraid of taking risks risks and chances, and people looking at you like, she's weird, that's crazy. A lot of people think that my dreams are too big,
Mhm.
but and that's why I only share them with special people, and I don't
Yeah.
always just share all of my master plans that I have in my mind. I'm like a little evil genius.
Yeah.
I have all these thoughts in my
Yeah.
brain, and I don't share them with just anybody. I share them with my close friends, obviously, and my mentors. But I want other women and girls to dream and believe and know that it's okay to be different, to express yourself, to be an artist, or to be all those different facets of yourself, and to not be ashamed of that.
Yeah, yeah, I love that so much. I'm super curious, like
Yeah.
the experience of signing on with someone and then being shelved. I'm like, can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I was in LA right after I graduated, and I was signed to, a big company. I'm not going to name
yeah,
names, but
no.
at the time, that was the dream. You're like, okay, I got to get a label deal, I got to get a manager, whatever. And
Mhm,
so when I got it, I was like, yes, my dreams have come true. And so I'm
mhm,
in the studio, I'm doing things, and then month after month, I'm not, I'm like, okay, when are we coming out? When am I getting to release? And the communication just kind of fizzled, and then I just realized I was shelved. So I was
mhm.
still in the contract. I couldn't work because if I worked, it would have, the terms wasn't
Yeah,
allowing me to be doing other things, but they weren't releasing me in the sense of I couldn't do anything. So I was just shelved. And that happens to a lot of artists.
true.
I know a lot of artists talk about that. So it took me a while to get out of that deal. And it was very heartbreaking for me because I felt like I worked so hard to just get to that and to
Yeah,
be in that space, and then to have such a bad experience. Made me a little discouraged, but then I decided, you know what? I'm not going to let somebody else be in control of my dream. So if that means I need to start my own LLC, I'm going to do that. I'm going to start my own
yeah,
production company. And so that's when I started Nadine Royale Studios, and I just built my own team, and I've been independent. It's a
yeah,
different road, but I'm
yeah.
okay with that.
Yeah, you know what though? I honestly feel like that's kind of like the path of I have chills all over. Like I think that when we're probably close-ish, similar ages, but like when I
Yeah.
was a little girl, the only way to, my dreams were like actress, model, like that's really
Yes.
the only way was through an agent, right?
Yes.
And
Mhm.
you were almost, and again, like if you wanted to be like a singer-songwriter, it was through that. If you wanted
Yeah.
to be an athlete, it's like again, the only way to like be seen and
Yeah.
known, quote
Yeah.
unquote, is through like that
The
way,
industry was
route.
changing. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reality is that there's so much darkness and there's so many art. Like, I'm gonna be super honest, Nadine. I was following this
Mhm.
artist
Mm.
forever
Mhm.
and he was independent.
Yeah.
And the second he signed and put out his new album, which was like the imagery on it, I was like, ooh, there's like some really dark, like I was just like, what? I was like
Yeah.
instant unfollow, you
Yeah.
know? Be-
Wow, I'm getting chills from you right now because the fact that your discernment is so on point is very, I mean, I'm very impressed by that because a lot of people don't have that spiritual discernment,
Mhm.
and they get sucked into the machine because, you get all of the other things.
Yeah.
And it's much easier, because you have resources and platforms and people pushing you and all those things. But at the end of the day, for me personally, I think that I'm all about spreading love and light in the way of I want to do what's I'm called to do.
Yeah.
And if it's not in alignment with me, I'm not saying there can't be other labels that you can work with that can be in alignment with you. It's just where I was at, that wasn't in alignment with me. And
Yeah.
I know there's also a lot of stories coming out now from the artists that used to have NDAs, and now it's coming out.
Yeah.
And you really see how dirty the music industry and the acting industry
Yeah.
is. And it makes me sad, honestly, because a lot of young girls and boys, they go to LA with a dream and they'll do anything to get there. And
Mhm.
then they find themselves in situations that are terrible. And so one of my things really is I have a heart for artists.
Mhm.
Like a protective mama bear sometimes.
Yeah.
I have a lot of influencer friends that blew up and they don't know what to do with the found fame. And so I try to protect them and be like, no, make sure your business end is good. Make sure your lawyer end is good. And I try to really protect them because I've seen the side when I was out in LA. I've seen the dark stuff,
Yeah.
and it makes me sad because artists just want to create and they want to share their message, and then they'll get exploited by people that are in power. And so I'm very impressed that you have such discernment. And
Oh,
I love this new wave of artists and entrepreneurs that are like, you know what, we're just going to do this ourselves, especially actresses, because
yeah.
in acting, it was never a thing of like, no, I'm going to just do my own show. But now I love that you're able to say, you know what, I'm going to grab me a Black Magic, a couple of my friends, and we're going to shoot this, TikTok show, short, whatever. And then people are having success with their independent films
Yeah.
or their independent stuff. And that I love, because I think it'll give a voice to all of these young artists that want to create and be out there without doing other things to get there.
Yeah. I have chills. I have chills all over. Like on my bio, it says not a sellout because it's
Ooh,
just
okay.
like, yeah. I'm just like very against like most of what goes on in the machine and all realms, and
Yeah.
I just love that. Like it just to me, like that just I wanted to talk about that right away because
Yeah.
I think that you're clearly like awake and you get it, and it's like you're not your vibration cannot fit there. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Yes. And so let me tell you that I, for a long time, was always passed over, right? I would be in
mm,
big rooms with big companies, and people would be like, oh my God, you were there, you were in that, and with big, big companies and opportunities. And I would always be passed over, like, no, no, we don't want it. No, we don't want it. And I'd be so confused because I would get right there in front of network, in front of whatever. And I was, right there, always right there with the next big break or whatever. And
yeah.
then I would be passed over and I'd be like, God, what am I doing wrong? Am I not good enough? And I started getting real insecure because, that's part of being an artist. And
Yeah.
I was like, am I just not good enough? Is this not what I'm supposed to be doing, God? Like I felt like I was hidden for a long time. And it's just really now that I'm realizing I was being hidden for protection
Yeah.
versus like, oh no, you're not good enough, you can't enter these rooms. It was more like, no, you went to those rooms, but you weren't supposed to be there because that's not in alignment with who you are.
Yeah.
And so I'm just now realizing, as I am maturing in my artistry, that like God's or sometimes rejection can be protection and redirection, and so
Mhm.
those things have really opened my mind now, because I'm like, okay, if I had stayed there or been with whoever I wanted or gotten the part that I thought I really wanted,
Mhm.
well, where would I have been now? What would I have had to sacrifice or, do to get there? And I'm a very, like you said, spiritual person, and I want to have integrity in what I do. And so
Yeah.
for me, it's not worth my soul.
No, like literally, like nothing should be worth, and that's what's crazy. Yeah, I feel that so much. And like there was a time when I was acting where I was getting like 10 to 15 auditions a week. Like it was
Mhm,
insane. My
mhm,
agent was like, "What is happening?"
mhm.
And again, similar thing, like constantly passed over because I started
Yeah.
acting later on in my life.
Mhm,
So it was one of
mhm.
those things that was like they want to have me as like main role, but I don't have
Yeah.
enough experience to have a main role,
Mhm,
but then I can't outshine like I'm like
mhm,
a little bit shiny, And then and my agent would say that. She's like, "You're too
mhm.
shiny to be like a secondary
The
character."
the outshine. I've been on sets where I came on as like supporting or something where I wasn't lead, but I came in like in bareface or whatever, and the makeup artist purposely, and I'm not trying to be like cocky. I'm just
Yeah.
echoing what you're
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
but they would purposely make me look a hot mess. Like I would come
Yeah.
out of makeup with my hair looking crazy, my makeup looking a mess. I'm like, what's wrong with these makeup artists? Because everybody else's makeup looked good, and I'm like,
Yeah.
are they sabotaging me? And I didn't understand that I was too shiny, like how
Yeah.
you're saying, like
Yeah.
and I felt so insecure because I'm like, now I have to be on set looking like this, and I don't want to fix. I mean, I was so fix it in the trailer. Like I'd be like, okay. I'm
Yeah.
such a perfectionist, so I still fix it a little bit. But I never understood the why. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't there to outshine anybody. I was there to be the supporting and to be like I
Yeah.
was excited to be there. Like, so I totally understand what you mean by that, that you were too shiny, that you were going to outshine the lead, and that's why they're suppressing you. And I get it. I know exactly what you mean.
And it's like, what are we doing, right? And then it's like, and it's so crazy because I was feeling the same thing. I was like, okay, am I just like not good enough? Like, what is going
Mhm.
on? And you said that like as an artist, we end up feeling not good enough, but
Yeah,
how could art ever be not enough? You know what I
right,
mean? Like that's such an
right,
interesting concept. Like you can't like we could literally like I could take this coffee cup and make something from it from my soul.
right.
We can't actually deem that worthy or not like you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like it's not even
Yeah.
real. Like nothing could be
Yeah.
not good enough. So
Yes, and yeah, and so what I think is interesting, especially because I studied like music.
yeah.
So in college, there's certain, I guess, markers you hit. Okay, you hit these runs, you do this, you do this. Now you're deemed worthy to be a singer, whatever. And after I got out of college, I realized all these rules. Okay, yes, they made me good technique wise,
Mhm.
but they're not real. Like a lot of times these rules are imposed, especially by industry. And that's, I struggle with that so much. Like as independent, I was like, oh, my sound has to be like this. I have to look like this. I have to have my body like this. I have to whatever like this, because that's industry standard, especially in acting, the
Yeah.
pressure of the looks
Yeah.
and having to be a certain weight or having your face done or, whatever things they want you to do. And I really fell into that trap where it's like I felt I'm never good enough. Like I always have to be better. My perfectionism was going real crazy. And then I just realized who is making these rules? Like, and
Yeah.
who am I trying to please here? Because I
Yeah.
did everything the machine said, as far as, okay, you have to have these headshots by this photographer, by this person,
Mhm.
and then you'll get. And I'm like, okay, I did all of that, and still you passed. So is this really about that, or is this
Mhm.
just a big So that's when I was like, I'm done playing this rat race game. Even in the social media space, this happens. Yeah, you got to constantly be posting, constantly be doing this. Da, 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 you need this and you need this, and it strips the artist because it makes us just have to play the game of the machine, of the content machine, and
Mhm.
that's not authentic to me. And I don't know that the viewer want that. I think they want to be connected and they want to feel like they're part of you versus
Yeah.
all of the Instagrammers renting those yachts or
Oh
whatever,
my
because half
gosh.
of them
I
don't
roll.
own the stuff, like, or whatever, doing whatever to get on these Dubai trips. So, like, it's
Yes.
just to me, to me, I just
Oh.
feel like I want to, I don't want to play that anymore because I've played it in the
Yeah.
sense of I try to check all the boxes. Okay, now I'm good enough. Okay, now you'll take me. Okay, I've done this. And then I was like, this is like an impossible standard that doesn't exist, that to a game of rules that's run by somebody completely different. And that's not the actual rules. Like it's
Yeah.
like they tell you these are the rules, but that's not really the rules.
Yeah.
And then you become so obsessed with stuff. And I just stopped that because I just feel like that's not a place of creativity that flows. That's just perfectionism, and it takes away the artistry. So I'm learning how to just embrace myself and my flaws, and understanding too, as women, I think what you see is lighting and makeup and filter. For me that
Yeah.
took a lot because I'd be like, I get so paranoid about, oh, does this look good? Does this look good? And I'm like, dude, like, it's okay. Like, you have a pimple. You're fine. Calm down.
Yeah.
Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, it's okay. Like, I just started understanding this is me on screen. I look a certain way. But when I'm off screen, I like to be in like sweatpants and a shirt and like, you know what I mean? I'm not very glamorous when when I'm at home. I just chill and drink a cup of coffee. So I had to accept like this is me on stage, this is that,
Mm.
but then off stage it's okay to be more relaxed. And yeah, I just kind of found myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get to be all of it. It reminds me of this thing that so like I'm loving everything that you're saying. Like I feel like even in just like business, like I've had to go through so like I'm known in the coaching industry for being like I say I'm in the industry but not in the industry. Like cuz I'm
Okay.
just like cuz I don't want to again play by these like rules cuz it's the
Right.
exact same thing. I feel like every single facet of our world has these kind of industry rules, whether it's business, whatever it is, right?
Right.
Everywhere. It is
Right.
like literally, it's just like an energy, it's the machine everywhere.
Mhm.
And to me, there are no fucking rules beyond
Mhm.
what you deem is like perfect for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, but there, it takes a lot of courage to break out of that though.
Yeah, I really like you a lot. I really like that you no, I just do. I just like you a lot. I love your energy. I can tell that you are a powerhouse, and I just it makes me really happy. I just feel really blessed that we're able to connect and be on
Mhm.
this time together because this is what I've been waiting on for a long time is to find like-minded people because like
Mhm.
I said, I was in the industry behind the scenes for a long time and I just didn't fit in ever. So I just
Yeah.
love that I'm starting to find people like you and others that are powerhouse entrepreneurs, artists, and actresses that are on the same like frequency. I love that.
You're gonna make me cry. I don't know. That just felt so like
Oh,
that felt really nice and really good. And yeah,
good.
it feels so powerful. Like to honestly, I probably have I think that like for me, like I've always been like so awake and like so aware of just like
Mhm.
all of these things that are going on. And honestly, like, and for all my own followers, they know that like my entire thing, like becoming your own dream girl is for me, I believe in creating movements. Like I help my clients create movements and like
I
you're
love
creating a
it.
movement. Yeah. And our movement is meant to initiate us into more of who we're here to be. And
Yeah.
I just like have always felt that like again, like I'm here to bring exactly like what you're like we're meant to bring freedom, and it's so
Yes.
beautiful to watch like other women doing their music in their own way, doing their acting in their
Mhm.
own way, embodying
Mhm.
like just again fully fucking breaking free. Like I what I'm feeling right now is just yeah,
Yes,
really
girl.
hopeful, you know? Like hopeful. There are people waking up and like doing this, you know? It's so beautiful.
Now you're gonna make me cry. Because I am also very, what is it called? They call you an empath. Like I can feel the energy. So I feel all this love energy from you. It's very sweet.
Yeah, yeah, we're doing it. Like, girlfriend, we're doing
Ooh,
it. And it's
yeah.
super inspiring because lately, like for me in my own work, it's the breaking free in the
Mhm.
money aspect
Mhm.
is challenging
Mhm.
because like these like it's like it's connected to our root chakra, our safety,
Mhm.
our survival.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, you have a lot of courage because you were in places that could guarantee income.
Right.
And we know, like, and I honestly think that this is a massive conspiracy. In my
Okay.
book, artists should be the most paid, right? Like, there's nothing, I have chills all over. There's nothing more powerful than like spirit, God expressed in the flesh,
Mm.
right? Like,
Mm.
the physical, us humans, we're all trying to have a spiritual experience, like we're all trying to
Yeah.
connect to God, and then God, the spiritual, whatever we want to call that, is trying to like
Mhm.
come out in the real, right? So
Yeah.
to me, art should be like the most paid
Right.
asset that we're creating,
Right.
right?
Right.
And yet, I don't know about you, but like when I was a little girl, like I would not be in the field playing sports. I'd be drawing, I'd be
Yeah.
drama school as well. I'd be like little artists. And what are we
Yeah.
conditioned? Starving
Yeah.
artists, starving
Yeah.
artists.
I took that out of my vocabulary because that's what I heard growing up. Starving artist, starving artist. No, don't do this. Don't be. You're gonna be poor. You're gonna be starving. I never, even as I'm growing and as I, started getting more successful, like I never proclaimed, no, I'm a starving artist. No, I'm not. I'm a
Yeah,
successful, thriving artist, even when I wasn't.
yeah,
Do you know
100%.
what? I was not going to speak that over myself or my
Yeah,
art because for so long I believed that. And I believed like, oh, no, no, I don't believe in that. And I'm not going to use that terminology over my art or my life or my business, you know? So I
yeah,
really want to encourage your viewers to take that out of the vocabulary. Like
mhm,
starving artist, no, thriving artist,
mhm.
you know?
Honestly, thriving artists, wealthy
Yeah.
artists, abundant artists. And
Yeah.
what I feel that we're having a rise of is like entrepreneur and artist together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, like the way that I run my business, it's like I'm infusing my creativity in it. Like, we're not fucking creating bullshit courses just so that
Yeah.
everyone just no, it's like, is there depth to it? Is there something that we can fucking feel? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just I was getting so angry yesterday. Like, my man was showing me this person that has like 800,000 views, and I was
Okay.
like, cool, but they're like so clearly selling out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't give a fuck like how much money this person's making. Like, where is the heart? Where is the soul? Where is like the
Mm-hmm.
actual, like, what are we actually doing here? Like, what the fuck is the point of being here if we're not putting our heart and soul into it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and I also think for you, I like that you really care about your audience, and that comes through. Like I can feel that, and I think that's so important because without them, like we're here to inspire, we're here to encourage, we're here to share the message that we've been given, and it's for them. So I think it's so important to always stay there with integrity and like no matter what the business decision is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always believed in that, having integrity. And I know some people believe, no, like you got to be cutthroat, you got to be this. But for me, I believe having integrity, treating people right and with respect, even the people I work with and the people I hire, like I feel like it's all about that. I want them to feel happy working with me. I want them to feel, like they're in a positive environment. That's important to me. And I think I love what you're doing. And I think, keep up the great work with that.
Yeah, I love that. I love you. Thank you. I'm like, I really want to talk about your song, War Cry.
Okay.
Can we like chat about that?
Yeah.
Because it is so powerful, and
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
link it in our show notes. But like, tell me what inspired that? Like, where did that come from? Yeah,
Okay.
just start. Just tell me.
Okay. Okay. So I was going through a really like dark time in my life. And a lot of songs come to me in dark times. I think it's like God reminding me, like, calm down, you're fine. Like I'm gonna take care of it, like it's my reminder. So for me, the way I write, I usually hear it full and then I just try to write it down and play it out and produce it. So I heard the lyrics like there must have been something in the water that kept me breathing just a bit longer. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. And so then, it kind of came and I was like, oh wow. And so it really the heart of that song was to encourage anybody that's going through something really difficult and feeling like they're drowning and they can't get out and they're about to give up, but
Mhm.
there's something in the water. So you got to hold on just a bit longer, and if you
Mhm.
see in the video, I don't know if I start underwater. No, I start on the floor and
Yeah.
the healer finds me, but I'm like thrown into the water and then I'm fighting and then I come out of the water and I'm grasping for air. And that was kind of symbolic for me because, I felt like I was drowning. I felt like there was no way out of my situation, but that faith and that hope is what kept me alive underneath it all,
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so when you watch the video, I have some beautiful models that have some different abilities. Like Faisy Legend has his cochlear implant and also vitiligo, like he's a vitiligo influencer. And then I have Mona and she has prosthesis, like just
Yeah.
warrior queen, and just
Mhm.
different people that were different. And
Yeah.
that's what I really wanted. I wanted the video to have really fierce warriors that were different and had like the non-conventional look than what the
Yeah.
modeling agency would have sent me. So
Yeah.
that was really important for me because I wanted it to be diverse, different, backgrounds, different all different things, and just make a statement of like, hold on a little bit longer, like you're a warrior, and really find that warrior spirit in you. So that's the heart behind War Cry. It's just like finding that inner strength inside of you when you're ready to give up.
Yeah, yeah, I really felt that watching it, and
Thank you.
um, I definitely noticed like the different kinds of people and like just,
Yeah,
and I really did like that. And yeah, it
thank
really,
you.
yeah, there's so much depth to that, like especially because, I didn't know where that song was coming from when I first listened
Right.
to it, but so
Sure.
more so it's like to me, it just brings so much like compassion to what other people might be going through in their own lives and what they might be feeling because they are maybe different or have gone through so many different
Right.
experiences, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like super powerful. I love
Thank
it.
you.
Like it honestly felt like it feels like you're watching like a whole story, like a movie, like from the start and then the music, like yeah, the creative process. Like I'm just so curious, like
Mhm.
how Okay, like when you go to create something like that, does it feel
Yeah.
like overwhelming? Does it feel exciting? Like how do you like there's so many moving parts to that.
Yeah. So for me, the inception of it is pretty just inspirational. Like, cause like
Yeah.
like I said, I try to create a sacred space where I can just be a vessel, right? So then I see the full thing. Like I saw that water footage, I already saw it in my head. I already knew what that
Mhm.
was gonna look like before
Yeah.
we even started treatment for it. But it's then the implementation that gets kind of tricky.
Yeah.
Because I can see the vision and, especially being independent, it's me and my best friend who's a genius. She's a creative genius. Jesus, I can't even tell you her name is Ash, and she's a genius. Like she was on camera for this video, and just I love her so much. But so the thing about that is like, I have this massive vision in my head, and then I have, the resources that I have, and I'm grateful for them. But most people are working with teams that are like, what, 100 people, big, all this
Yeah.
stuff. And doing it yourself then can feel really overwhelming. So yes, if you ask me if I felt overwhelmed during shooting of Warcry, absolutely. I cried multiple times. I had breakdown multiple times, and I called her and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna finish this." And she's like, "Calm down. We're gonna do this." And that's why it's important to have like soul sisters. Like she's my
Yeah.
soul sister because you need people that are going to be like, okay, come on, we can do this. Like let's reframe. Let's figure out how can we make this simpler. How can we do it like this? How can we do? So
Mm.
she's a genius, and then figuring out ways to be creative. And then in editing, I also edited it. So in editing, then implementing certain things and making it look the way you want it. But I also want to say that the universe, God provided us locations and
Mm.
places. Like that ocean footage, that wasn't an ocean. That was like a lake that we made look like an ocean,
Okay, I love that.
but it was still provided, and then we were
Yeah.
provided a ranch, which was such a blessing, and had that cliff, so we had a drone. And shout out to Steve, my good friend, who lent me all his gear, so we were able to shoot with his drone and got some beautiful aerial footage and stuff. So it's really miraculous how that came together, because like I said, it was like, okay, how are we going to execute this vision with this budget and this, so
Yeah.
yeah, many tears, many freakouts, but worth it in the end.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Like I think it's so beautiful. Like I think that's why I love art so much. And this is like and for me, like it's such a scary fucking thing. But like even when I watch like my man, for example, he's like he does construction, okay? But
Okay, cool.
he's like very creative and he does like crazy work. Like he's like the
Mhm.
only one who does the things that he does. Like he'll just build like all these like crazy details and all this stuff. And when
Cool.
I watch, and this kind of reminds me of that, like when I watch people like physically create something, like there's so much that goes into it. And
Mhm.
like you can't, I mean, you could quit, you could give up, but like you can't, right? Like you have to see it
Right.
through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it like, and I work with so many clients internally, like they're, I can just imagine like how many things you have to face within yourself to get to that completion.
Yes. There's so many things, and there's also insecurities once you're done, because then you're like,
Mhm.
is this good enough? Is this did whatever, and then you start questioning yourself. But then you have to turn it all off. And also if you're editing yourself, that's to me, I really need to start outsourcing again, because editing myself drives me nuts.
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
because I'm looking at myself, picking myself apart.
Yeah.
So it drives me nuts. But I do enjoy like the creative editing part of it, the visual. But when it comes to myself, it's just I like to step away, because then I start going to perfectionism on myself, and that's
Yeah.
not healthy for me. But seeing the vision through really it can be challenging, because you just want to give up. You feel unsupported. You feel, how are we going to do this? How is this going to work? But I stopped putting limitations. I think once I started looking at what I had versus what I don't have, because a
Mhm.
lot of times I'd be like, well, I don't have this, and I call her my momager. She's a good friend of mine, amazing director, and she, she's always taught me how to make things out of nothing. And so she'd be like, no, look around you. What do you have? What can we do with what's around us to create what we want? And then if you focus on what you have versus the lack, then more things happen. And you're like, okay,
Mhm.
well, I have a friend and he's going to let me borrow this. Cool. My best friend is going to shoot it for me. Okay, cool. Now we're going to hire some models. Okay, cool. All right. Well, they said we can use the ranch. Like things started opening up once
Yeah.
I stopped saying, well, I don't have 100,000 K right now to put into a video. You know, like once I
Yeah.
stopped putting limitations and just MacGyvered it really, that's when it happened, you know, and it can be stressful. And I definitely am now working more in the place of, okay, let's have a full budget to hire people. So it's not so stressful. But if when
Yeah.
you're starting out, sometimes you just got to MacGyver it and be innovative, you know?
Yeah. Well, and all I'm hearing is like you are like in your power.
Thank you.
Like, because most people would go, like, they'd be more like a victim, like, oh, I
Mm,
can't do this, or like, I want to make a music video, but I can't. And the truth is, like, obviously, one person with just their camera could not create what you created. But like,
mhm.
if anyone listening right now, if they like nowadays, like, you could
Yeah.
probably like record something. It won't sound amazing, and you could record something. You know what I mean? Like, there is
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah, and there's so much education, like on YouTube. I don't know
Mm.
what film it was. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once. They were talking
Oh
about how
yeah.
some of the editors were self-trained. And obviously they didn't learn how to edit that level within like a
Yeah.
couple of weeks, but some of them were self-taught. So I think collaboration, finding other people that are supportive and creative, and then also education, teaching yourself, you know, how to do the technical side. I know how to use, like I produce my tracks in Logic Pro. So I learned that when I was in college, you know, so
Yeah.
I learned engineering, I learned production, I play keys, I do all of that end. Now, do
Hmm.
I like to work with other people? Absolutely. But if I need to produce it myself, I can do it.
Yeah.
Not saying that's the answer to do everything yourself, but it's good to be educated. Same with,
Yeah.
you know, camera gear. Like learn the camera gear, learn lighting, find friends that are also into it and start studying and make the best with what you have. And don't be embarrassed, I think, because I would feel embarrassed. I'd be like, man, I don't have this, I don't have that when I was starting out.
Hmm.
But then I was like, I'm tired of putting limitations on my art or limitations on myself. Like I'm just gonna do the best with what I'm given. And that's it. And then be proud of the work I did and let it speak the way it's supposed to, you know?
Yeah. Totally. Which then I'm like, okay, I'm like, I have more questions, Dean.
Yeah.
Because again, like, I really want you to feel what I'm saying. Like, you have literally like come up, like you've surpassed all your own inner stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Right.
that's huge, because all these, like, this whole time I'm listening to you, I can already hear other people that I might have come across or whatever, other people in the world,
Hmm.
all of their limitations, the embarrassment, the this,
Hmm.
the that, the this, like, these are things that ultimately do actually stop a lot of people in their tracks.
Absolutely. I think there are, you know, I had to unlearn a lot of voices in my head that weren't my own. So
Mhm.
a lot of thought patterns that were put into me as a kid, as a teenager, were really negative and really self-deprecating. You know, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you're not talented enough, whatever it was, you know,
Yeah.
that mindset of you're not good enough, you're never good enough. And I had to realize, like, wait a minute, who is saying this?
Mhm.
Why am I not good enough? Like, obviously I had trauma that I went through and had to heal through to realize, oh, this is what caused this, you know. But unpacking this and then being like, no, I'm fine. I'm good enough just the way I am. And
Yeah.
I know that as you know, in the beginning, when I just graduated college at 17, I was like really about, okay, I got to prove to the industry, I got to prove to everybody that I am at this point. And I understand that I'm just coming out to most people because I'm building my audience and stuff like that. But for me, I've been an artist for a long time. So I'm at this place of maturity where I'm like, I have nothing to prove to anybody. I know who I am. I know the gifts that God has given me. And my goal is just to use them to bring others hope and joy and love or whatever that I'm supposed to be doing with my gifting. I want
Mhm.
to do it at my best of my ability with the most impact to the people that I'm supposed to be serving. And everything else, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I really had to learn how to unpack and take all of those voices out, especially while creating or while building my brand, because like I said, I'm human. Like I have thoughts, imposter syndrome thoughts, or whatever those things are that
Yeah.
people talk about. That happens to me, but I've learned how to discern that those are not me. That's not my voice. And my inner voice has become more powerful because I have fed myself with affirmations and retraining of my mind and doing a
Mhm.
lot of spiritual journeying that has made my inner voice stronger than the outside noise that used to just inhabit my mind, you know?
Yeah, that is like so good. Your inner voice is like stronger than the other
Yeah.
ones.
Because you have to figure out which wolf you're feeding,
Yeah.
right? There's two wolves. So the one you're feeding is going to be louder. So I
Mhm.
used to always listen to the negative ones, and that's what I was feeding. But I had to learn to take the attention off of it and put the attention on the other one.
Yeah.
And in that, I have, like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm still working through my own shit, but I am now in a more grounded space because I'm no longer needing other people's approval for me to know who I am. Like I already know.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I'm just like, this is just so inspiring. It's so cool. It's so
Cool.
amazing. Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. Yeah, because like again, like it's just like you're overcoming all the things that were placed on you to hold you back, you know?
Mm. Yeah, Kelsey, and you're an actress, so you know exactly what I'm talking about because I'm sure you've been in different like acting schools or whatever, and they say you have to do this or you have to do that to get this, and then you feel all this pressure. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. And I have like such a, I'm like, I'm gonna make it about me right now. I have the craziest desire. As you're talking, I'm just like, fuck, like I am so ready to start creating my own content again.
do
Because
it.
yeah, it's been years. It's been like 3 years since I was creating like skits and like stuff. But
Yes, do
I
it,
yeah,
Kelsey.
like
Do it.
I'm like, I miss it. I miss it. And like what I feel like I'm trying to do right now is like, so I can't sing. Okay. I mean I can, but I
But is
can't.
that
But I can
true?
I don't know. You're gonna blow my mind. Mm,
Is that a voice of yours or somebody told you that?
yeah. So I've been told that I can't.
Okay,
And
fuck those people.
yeah, but I do love it. And I do love singing. And I just love I'm like, okay, what's your human design? Do you know your human
I
design?
think I'm a manifesting generator. I
Okay.
think that's what I am.
Me too. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're just like we just love like I just love doing I love all of it, you know?
Can I cuss on this? I just realized I cuss. That's
Yeah, yeah, you're allowed. You're allowed. You're good. Like trust me. I
blur me
can't
out. I'm
stop.
sorry.
No, you're good. I can't stop myself on these shows. Yeah, it's just like I'm just like so inspired right now because I've been wanting to like create like my my business, the Dream Girl, the brand, but I want
Yeah.
to start creating almost like music videos for the
Do it.
work that I do. Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah,
Do
I love it. It's so funny. I'm going to create content this afternoon with like my content girl, which like
it.
yeah, and it's so funny because I didn't even know that I was talking to you today. Like that was like
Yeah.
I was messaging her last week, like, yo, I want to create like videos like this and like this and like this. And she's like,
Yeah.
okay, let's figure it out. And then after listening to you, I'm just like, man, I am so fucking inspired. Like you're just so
Oh,
cool. Yeah, I love
I'm
it.
so happy. Well,
Yeah.
I want to, maybe you should. I mean, I haven't heard you sing, so I don't know what we're working with. But I feel like if that's what you love, like, why don't you go work on it and get some lessons or get into it and get to a place where you feel comfortable and then record something?
Yes, and maybe I need to. I do. I'm it's funny. I was driving the other day and one of my best friends, I used to live in Mexico, okay?
Oh, cool.
Oh my gosh, I loved it. And she was visiting me for a month and I would sing for her and she would just like cry. It was so cute. It was so sweet. And I was
Well,
like, man,
maybe you have like a healing voice and you haven't been using it because somebody told you you can't sing. That's dumb. Stop that.
I think that that's what it is. And I don't think that it's like, and that's what people have told me. It's not like industry. It's not like what you'd hear on the radio, but there's
Cares?
like, it's like healing. Like there's like depth to it. You know what I mean?
Listen, if you feel that, if you feel like that's part of your gifting, you need to go start playing with that. Go
Yeah.
discover that. Start it. I would recommend starting it in a safe place first if you haven't ever explored that musical side of yourself. So
Mhm.
don't start like posting and then other people are in your stuff. Stay in a sacred space first where
Yeah.
you're creating, you're exploring your voice, like maybe with other singers or musicians, where it's a safe space to learn and grow. And then once
Mhm.
you're real comfortable, then maybe you have like an album in you. Maybe you got music. Maybe you got like a sound healing ministry. I don't know. Like you don't want
Cool.
to limit yourself,
Yeah.
if there's a gifting there. So I definitely want to encourage you to explore it in a safe, sacred space and then listen and to your intuition as to what the purpose is and then execute on it, because if your friend is crying because you're singing to her, obviously you have healing in your voice.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh my gosh, you should be coaching artists too.
I'm always open to that, absolutely.
Oh, I love that. Okay. So now let's like I really want to talk about your clothing as well because I
Okay,
just like
yeah.
I want to hear about that too. Like I just have some again, it's like sometimes these episodes are like conversations, but then
Yeah.
other times I'm just like, wait, but I have all the questions. Like tell me all the
Well, you can ask me whatever you want.
Okay,
And even
tell me.
when we're off air, you can also call me and ask me.
Yes, I know. I feel like now we're gonna be friends.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, that's are you still in LA, by the way? Where are you now?
No, I'm in Texas right now, but I'm
Okay,
actually
cool.
leaving for Europe in September. So I'm going
Oh,
to
I
be in
love it.
Portugal
Oh my
and
gosh.
Morocco. I'm really excited because I'm doing a travel show that I'm
Ooh,
shooting myself. So I'm really excited about that because I
wow.
think Portugal and Morocco are going to be my first stops.
Yeah.
So
Oh
I
my
can't wait.
gosh.
I'll share it with you when it's done.
Yeah, please, please, please. I love that. Okay. Yeah, that is so cool. Portugal's been coming up so much and I'm
Really?
learning Portuguese. Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
I'm not I shouldn't have said that because I literally only know like 3 words right now, but I'm like slowly learning Portuguese. Uh
Awesome.
yeah, and then one of my clients is like in Portugal and then another one just left Portugal. So there's like something like I love the alignment there. I'm so excited for you. Okay, tell me about your clothes. Can you tell
Okay.
all of us about your clothes?
Yes. And then I want to hear about your clothes because we
Yes.
talked about that a little earlier.
Yeah, we did.
Um, so Ascendi, that name came to me. I was praying about that name because I was like, okay, what are we going to name this baby? And Ascendi, as in like ascending, overcoming, right? So
Mhm.
that was the heart of that word that came to me. And I wanted to make clothes that are inspiring that you can wear when you're working out or when, leisure wear. Right now, I'm going to pivot into some business wear in a minute. But for right now, what's on the website is more like apparel. But the heart of Ascendi is I have playlists with songs that you can work out to. And then also the affirmations are on the bras. So I have one that's a water one, and it says, I am resilient. So I
Mm.
coordinated the elements with that specific line. I coordinated the elements with the different affirmations.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's a little alchemical, I like
Yeah.
that whole vibe. But then I also have more like the warrior collection and different ones with the affirmations just on the inside, where it's just in the inside label and not on the outside, because
Mhm.
some people might not want it to be on the outside. But my main heart of Ascendi is to bring something you can wear and feel powerful in and remind
Mhm.
yourself, like kind of like a statement piece for yourself. And then you
Yeah.
go to the gym and you kill it in a gym and you do your affirmations. That's what I do. When I'm in the gym, I have my music in and I say my affirmations. People at the gym think I'm weird because I'm like doing a kettlebell and I'm like, I am successful, whatever I'm doing. And they're like, okay. And I whisper it underneath my breath. Like I'm not like screaming it, but you can tell that I'm like working through my inner stuff. And they're like, okay, she a little scary. But I had to, that's how I retrain my mind. So
Yeah.
I do my affirmations, I work out. And so that's kind of how Ascendi was born. I was like, this would be cool to have a brand that encompasses this and is inspirational. So I really want to build a community around that with people that are reaching their goals and going for their dreams and then able to wear statement pieces that are inspiring.
Yeah, I really love that. I just think like vibrationally there's so much there. Like imagine like this like basic sweater had like an affirmation on it. Like you're literally that's so cool. Like I love it.
Dang,
Yeah.
dang. So
Yeah,
tell me about what you wanted to do.
yeah. So right now, okay, so merch, I want merch for Dream Girl because that is just like okay, the thing with Dream Girl that I love is that it's like surface level. Like everyone wants to be their own dream girl, but then there's like such a depth to it because it's literally becoming like the woman that you were created to be. Like it's so unique, it's so individual. Like every single woman is her own dream girl, meaning she's just like there's like a truest, most expanded version of herself. Like there's no, you
Mm.
know, right now every single girl online looks the same. Like okay,
Yeah.
they're all following like a dream girl. Like, no, that's not your own dream girl. Like every
Mm.
single right, like your own dream girl is like again, like you have this like beautiful curly hair. Like that's
Thank you.
right, like that's your own dream girl. Like this is my fresh out of the shower hair. That's my own dream girl, right? Like we're
Yeah.
meant to own our skin tone, our body
Yeah.
type, our like everything. And when I build businesses and everything, it all comes down to like who you are at the core. Like your
Yeah.
mission, what you've overcome, like it's like what it is, it's all within you. We don't have to look
I
outside of us.
love
It's just
that.
like it's what you're saying, owning who you are. Like finally like owning what the fuck and who you are, right?
I love that.
So,
Especially the hair comment, because thank you for saying that about my hair,
yeah.
because people would always tell me, especially in the industry, be like, your hair is too wild. You need to get that under control. That's too frizzy. That's too this. That's too much. And so the fact that you made a comment about that, it's kind of funny because, you know, that used to be a area of like, no, you need to tame your hair. It needs to be more pulled back. It needs to be this. And I love that you're like, no, what? Own your own
Well, yeah.
dream look of how you want to look. And it's like, now if my curls are a little wild, I don't care.
Well, 100%. How crazy would that be that like and you know, I know that there are people who listen who may not resonate with God, but like God, universe, whatever, like God
Mhm.
literally created you to have this big, beautiful curly hair. And then
Thank you.
some fucking person is going to tell you that you have to tame it. How stupid it is. Like, that's just actually crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
no, to me, it's like, oh, I meant to have big hair. Let me make it bigger. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
turn up
Yes.
the dial on what you are, right?
I love
So
that.
the whole like my dream girl thing, one of the things that I want to do is I really want to inspire like younger like teenagers. Like my man's
Yeah.
daughter is 12
Okay.
and she's like I want my son is 6. He has 3 little girls, but like yeah,
Oh,
she's 12 and she's like I want dream girl merch and all my friends at school want your dream girl merch. And I'm like,
yes.
yes, like we need these girls lovingly following people like yourself and myself
Thank
versus an artist that literally has like a demonic tattoo on her back. You know what I mean?
uh
And who's
Yeah.
teaching like and who's teaching these little 12-year-old girls that
I'm
she's
sorry. I'm
deeply
not laughing at
insecure.
that. I'm laughing at how open you are about this.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just it makes me very happy to see the new generation coming out and being so bold because
Mhm.
you know, back before, I want to say all the social people weren't being like this. They weren't
Yeah.
having these conversations. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
laughing. I'm not laughing
Yeah.
at that. I'm laughing at you just being fierce. That's
Oh
all.
yeah, I just don't care. Like this so the Instagram that I currently have is my third Instagram because I've been deleted for
Really? Yep. I know what you mean.
for saying stuff like that, right? But it's like we need little girls following women like you and
Oh,
me versus like thong out, ass out, blood all over on a stage. What the fuck is happening, right? You know what I mean? Like that's what
yeah.
we need. Like, and this is like a
Mm.
huge thing that I truly believe in. Like making like I've been telling some of my clients because I'm so into branding and like blowing up your brand and things like that. Like um I really do feel this is like this has nothing to do with my clothing. This is just something I've been feeling for so long. Very soon, in maybe in the next 10 years, we are going
Yeah.
to see like right now it's like kind of all darkness on the red carpet type vibe. Very soon we're going to see literally 50-50, like light and dark.
Interesting. That's what you're feeling?
Yeah, I feel like all like soon collectively we are going to, and I have chills, we are going to start making people that are like walking with God and integrity and truth famous
Mm.
because they can't stop it. We don't need agents anymore. There's no gatekeeping
Mm.
anymore. People just
Mm.
become fucking famous on TikTok, on Instagram, all these things, right?
You're making me very emotional. This
You
is
can't
this is
stop us.
This
Like,
is a very wow. I feel chills and I feel very emotional because I think a lot of beautiful artists that I know too have been suppressed and
Mhm.
been given the platforms or haven't been given the voices. And it breaks my heart because I'm like, yo, do you guys hear them? Do you guys see these actors? Do you see these amazing talents and they're not
Yeah.
getting the platforms because they're not in, you know?
Yeah.
So this makes me very emotional. And I don't know, I love your mission and what you're doing. Like, it's so powerful.
I have
So thanks
chills.
for making me cry on your
Yeah.
podcast, Kelsey.
Oh, so we both cried. I have chills all over because all that's coming through is like, you cannot stop us. Like, you
Yeah,
can't
I like
stop
that.
us. Like, we all just are like growing in so much power. And like, whether someone likes it or not, you cannot, the
Come on.
algorithm cannot suppress this stuff
Come
anymore.
on. Preach it.
Right?
Okay,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So, all this to say, I want Dream Girl merch just for like this element.
Yeah.
But then the other thing that's really scary for me to say out loud is like, I want to create my own clothes, like my own clothing line.
Do it.
And I also want to produce my own like film and
Mhm.
acting and things like that, and maybe music too, Nadine, we'll see.
Yes.
But yeah, and
All of it.
all of that is under a certain brand
Mhm.
that I've had publicly for a while, which is called the City of God, like City of God. And
Okay.
I want like City of
Go.
God Productions,
Yeah.
clothing. It's just like
Yeah.
all my
Come
stuff
on.
kind of fits. Like the society, my company is called the Society, and then I have City of God, and yeah, like
Mhm.
like it's coming, it's happening, it's
It's
gonna,
happening. We're speaking into being.
yeah,
It's happening. It's
yeah,
coming. Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
I love
totally,
that. I can't
yeah.
wait to see what you come up with. That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, I do want like interesting apparel where there is like I'm not religious, but I do want like really cool apparel with like I'm a follower of Christ, but I'm anti-religion. Like I have a really interesting take on all of this. Because again,
You know, that's so funny that we connected because I've been a Christian artist before and I was in that whole bubble for a while. And I love Jesus. Don't get me wrong, I love
Mhm.
Jesus, but I've been very burned by a lot of religious trauma. So
Yeah.
I think it's so funny that we are connecting on that because I
Hmm.
think a lot of us that have come out of the church trauma still love God a lot and still
Yeah.
love Jesus, but are like, I'm gonna do things a little different. And then a lot of people don't understand and they'll be like, you're whatever, heathen. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know what to tell you. But I love that. I love that a lot of us are coming out and are still in our faith and spiritual, but in a different way, you know?
Well, because again, it's like to me and lovingly to anyone listening, it's the same rules that you're breaking out of in the industry, the same rules that I'm breaking out of in my industry.
Yeah.
We're breaking out of those same rules in religion. It's all the same thing,
Yes.
right?
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
so yeah, like I do want like really cool and a lot of my clients come back to God after work. Even like
Hmm.
I have Muslim clients who come closer to God working with me. And like I in the past when I was living in Mexico, I had like bikini photos, like ass up. And yet I was still working with clients, bringing them closer to God. And I'm like, yeah, because that's not like a indication of whether I'm close to God or not. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
like there's just so much. But yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like we could talk forever about so many interesting things.
Yeah.
But it's all happening and I love everything that you're doing and it
Thank
just feels
you.
so powerful
Thank you.
to meet someone who's like who just gets it, you know?
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to stay in touch after the show.
Yeah, totally. So I feel like there's like a little bit of completion here. So
Okay.
Nadine, like what do you I always just kind of like feel the vibe and I'm like, okay, I feel like an hour is a good
Yeah,
amount.
sure.
We're gonna tag all your stuff,
Thank
send
you.
me War Cry, everything in our show notes. But for anyone who's listening, I have a lot of female listeners who they want to be doing what you're doing, you know, in their own way.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that like you intuitively feel like you want to share with everyone that you want to say?
Sure. If you have a dream and you know what the vision is, don't let anybody talk you out of it. Don't let any circumstances, any old narratives, any partners that happens too.
Mhm.
Don't let anybody stop what God has for you. So if you know this is what you've been, this is the vision, and everybody else is like, you're crazy, you're too old, you're too this, you're that, tune that out and really, really just implement what you can and start small, baby steps. Even if it's I'm going to write one song a day. Okay, now I'm going to make a video that I'm going to post. Like, even if it's small steps, take small steps towards the goal and see the vision. For me, I visualize a lot. I do a lot of visualization before even implementing. So I meditate, I do visualization, and I pray. So there's a lot of things that I do in preparation before I even start work. But I think find your path and don't take no for an answer. And don't try to please an industry. Like, really just be yourself. And if it's different, if it looks different, it's okay. Maybe that's exactly how you're supposed to show up. Maybe you're supposed to be that person that has purple hair and sings like this, and you're going to reach somebody else and help them feel loved and powerful because they can relate to you. So I always love to encourage being authentic and being yourself and not putting yourself into the box that everybody else has created, because they need you. They need your story. They need your voice. I kind of feel like I'm supposed to be telling you this, Kelsey. You're supposed to be doing, I don't know, it's coming through. You're supposed to be doing your films and your short content, like your acting stuff. There's a lot of storyline there that's very healing and powerful that you're supposed to be doing. So I think you should not allow those fears and blockages to stop you, and just go ahead and move forward on it, because there's a story there, and there's some beautiful films and TV shows you have inside of you that need to come to life. So even if it starts on social, let it start there, but let it be seen, because you're an amazing actress. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing you're an amazing actress, and that you have the gift and you know who you are. So don't let them intimidate you, and just go all the way out with what you're created to do, and you will be fully supported in that. And go sing.
Oh, you're making me cry, Nadine. Thank
I'm
you.
just telling you what I'm feeling inside.
Yeah. Yeah. You're making me cry. Yes. And you know what? I will just like really validate that. Like I am a really good actress. I am actually. I really am.
I
And
know, they told me.
yeah, yeah, I really am. And even my last acting teacher was like, "What the fuck just happened?" You know what I mean? And I was like, "I don't
You
know."
have a gift, because you have a gift, so use it. And the stories that you have, because there's
Yeah,
scripts inside of you. There's a lot inside of you.
yeah,
Let them bring it out, roll it out.
yeah.
It's
It's
time,
time.
darling.
It's
It's time to take
time.
the stage.
Oh, this is so vulnerable because now my whole audience is gonna hear this. Oh, it's so scary. Yes, I
It's
love
okay.
it.
They're all going to support you and love you, right, guys? You're all
Yes.
going to support her and watch and support and heart, so that she feels
Oh,
comfortable to share.
yes, Nadine, that was so beautiful. And for anybody else listening, that was also for you. I loved all of that. I
Absolutely.
just like I resonate with your message so much. Just like be who you're here to be 100%. Somebody
Yes.
needs it. Yeah.
Yes. And don't give up. If you feel like giving up and throwing in the towel, do not. Keep going. Push. It's going to get better. It gets brighter at the end. It really does. Because there was times I thought I wasn't going to make it through, but God. So if you're in that time where you're like, there is no way I can come out of this situation, there is nothing, just keep going, one step at a time, 1 second at a time, one more breath, keep going, push. That's also, I feel that very strongly. Don't give up. You're valuable, and you're loved, and you're needed, even if you don't feel like that. So don't listen to those dark voices telling you to leave or give up or quit or be gone. The world needs you, and they need your message. So don't give up.
Oh gosh, Nadine, this is like such a
Oh, I'm
crazy
getting emotional
podcast.
again.
Same. Are we just gonna cry?
Oh, I'm such a crybaby. I hate that about myself.
No, I
But I
am
just get
too.
emotional because I can feel the energy, and like it makes me so sad to think about people that are struggling, because I get it. I've been there. So
Yeah.
I want them to be encouraged, and I want
Yeah.
them to be warriors.
Yes, I love that. I feel like that's such an element of your brand, like warrior, like just like, well, that's the thing though. That's what I wanted. I know I'm like trying to end this podcast, but I'm like, there's more that I want to say. Like, you just have such a warrior spirit. That's what I was saying. Like,
Thank
how did
you.
you overcome all that stuff? Like, you just
Thank
have
you.
it in you, you know? It's so powerful. So powerful. Yeah. Yeah. I
So do
have
you.
thank you. I have so much love for you. I literally wish I could hug you.
Me
I need
too.
to I know. I'm like, hug. I need to come to Texas so that we can record like in
Yeah, where are you
person.
at? Where are you at?
I'm in Toronto.
You know what? I'm gonna just come to Toronto because I gotta go to Canada one day.
There we go. Just come here. We can do an in-person podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do a little skit together. It'll be
Oh my
amazing.
God. Oh my God. I'm so down.
That'd
I'm
be so fun.
serious too, because
Yeah.
I'm not like the LA, like, yeah, let's do it. No, I'm serious. Don't
Yeah.
invite me because I will be in Toronto. We will do a skit.
I'm serious too, so this is scary.
Okay, cool.
I love it. Okay, guys,
Okay.
please like tag us both because I know that people were probably crying this whole podcast as well. There's no
Mm.
way, like there's just so much depth of emotion in this. Yeah, just everyone who's listening, please like go listen to her music, go reach out, go follow her, go buy her clothing. Tag
Oh,
us both on your stories when you listen. And we're just so happy to be here. And I'm just so happy that my beautiful assistant Hazel found you. I'm like, wow, I love
shout
you so
out
much, Hazel.
Hazel. We
I
love
know,
you.
shout out Hazel. Yeah, just so grateful that she found you. And this was just truly like the highlight of my fucking day, week,
Oh,
month. I don't even
oh,
know. Like, honestly. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
sweet. Thank you. I had an amazing time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Bye, guys. Love you.
Love you.